Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel. You are the best. So you clicked on this channel, either you are fascinated by true crime and you also love good vibes. You've come to the right place. So tonight's story, man, it has been featured on TV spots, on Investigation Discovery, on Snapped, and well, on Crime Daily. But it has not been talked about from true crime YouTubers, which is very surprising. Unless I missed somebody, let me know. So I'm going to talk about Arthur Burney. Now, Arthur Burney was found dead, who people thought he had a heart attack. But the truth is stranger than fiction. So hang out with me. Enjoy the next title page to have good vibes, because this is very sad. We are talking about true crime. So let's go and talk about Arthur Burney.
And you can say I told you so. Next time you hear the doorbell ring, next time you hear somebody sing, you are the world's most perfect girl. That voice you hear belongs to me, in harmony. Just wanna go back to the way we never were. Just wanna go back.
Before we go on, I just want to give a huge thanks to my subscribers. Without you guys, I would not be here, and I really, really appreciate you guys. The giveaway is coming up, guys. It's Thursday. It's going to be the 29th. Yeah, 2024, February. Leap year. Yeah, I'm ready to get some crystals going. Absolutely. So I've seen that not many of you guys have dropped off. I haven't uploaded in a little bit. It's been about 8 or 9 days, and that's not like me. I usually do an upload every 4 days. But I did warn you that I was concentrating on something else. I recently have been training and having an education, and just to let you know, guys, I passed my state exam. Yes, for life insurance and annuities. So I'm extremely excited, and I am still training on my, financial training. And my main goal is to educate families on finances. Now, as true crime is very prevalent in my life, I've also seen a lot on social media, Instagrams, and, all kinds of newspapers as well, that family members are being killed or they're dying and they're not leaving wills or any insurance or anything like that. Now, the main thing people tell me is, well, when I die, I do not want to be buried. I don't want my family to pay for my funeral, nothing. Well, the thing is that life insurance and IRAs and all that is not just because, to do your burial and stuff like that. I mean, you really want to take care of your loved ones. So yeah, guys, I'm training on life insurance. I'm training on debt stacking, helping people get out of debt without doing bankruptcy. And that's been my favorite so far. You basically don't change anything that you're doing. You still pay your bills, but there's a different way that you do them. So if you want to DM me, drop a comment, I could totally help you. Plus with investments, IRAs, Roth IRAs, life insurance, because life insurance doesn't mean that, you don't get it until you die. There's also investments and stuff out there that will keep on growing and you cannot outlive. So I'm extremely excited. If you guys personally want a session with me, what I love to do, I love to look over policies, like life insurance policies, especially ones that you get from your job, because there are jobs out there that give you group insurance, but then when you break it down and look at what you actually get, I say keep it if it's free, that's awesome. But also you should look into getting something for yourself or maybe your spouse or your children. Definitely look into something like that. So email me, teatimeCB@yahoo.com. We will get you straight. Again, I want to help you. If you don't know me, please know that I love people, and this opportunity that I've been working so hard on is going to help me help me educate families, because in school, for some reason, we were not taught any of this. So I'm learning to help other people. So yeah, just, if you don't want to leave comments, if you are shy or embarrassed, because same, that is a very personal matter. Talking about finances, like I'm somebody who would rather talk about my personal life. You know what I'm saying? I was a pure romance consultant for a while. Great products, by the way. I wouldn't mind talking about that. I love it. I'm very open. I'm very confident. But when it comes to finances, that's where I get on the meek side. That's where I get on the shy side. But I've learned that it's very important to be prepared. It's very important to just, you never know what's going to happen. And as you listen to these true crime stories, do you think these people knew what was going to happen to them? No, probably not. So yeah, let me know and let me take care of you for your financial needs. Can't wait to hear from you guys. All right. Thank you so much for listening. And if you, scrolled past it, no worries. Just email me and we'll have a chat about financial services, because I passed my state exam and I am licensed. What? I'm so excited. Okay, so we're going to talk about Arthur Burney. Now, Arthur Burney was the kind of guy, not only he was a redhead, you know how much we love our redheads here, okay? He was born May 29th, 1957, and yes, that makes him a Gemini. Poor Arthur. Arthur was the kind of guy who just was extremely loved by his family. And he had quite a big family. He actually was a great grandfather in his 50s. I know, right? You guys are already contacting me about what I just said. Okay, let me just quiet the notifications real quick. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, please email me, text me, DM me. 100% of my business is a referral, So, but I really want to get a lot of training under my belt to be the best I literally can be on helping families. All right. So, yeah, Arthur Burney. So we're going to go to Coweta in southwest of Tulsa in Oklahoma, United States. And we're going to be going all over the place. We're going to be starting from the 90s all the way till 2011. And currently today, I'll tell you what's going on today. So Arthur, like I said, was extremely loved and was even a great grandfather, okay, in his 50s. So yes, it's that kind of situation. And I think it's great. Cool, man. He's a Gemini, so he probably was very chill, very talkative, very loving towards his family. His daughters today even love their father. They have wonderful things to say about him, and they don't understand why he is gone. So I am here to tell the story, the awful story about what happened to Arthur Burney. So Arthur was actually married to Linda for a long time. She actually was, Linda was married to Arthur for about 20 years. And they had 2 teenage daughters, and the names were Karen and Samantha. Now, Karen and Samantha said their father was a strict father, but he also spoiled them as well. He was a very loving, attentive dad. So that's great. Now, one day though, Arthur, they think he had a, what do you call it, guys? A midlife crisis. Wow, you guys are getting me on my phone now. Okay, let's just pause those notifications. My apologies. So during this time, Arthur has a midlife crisis. All right, it happens. It's pretty not rare, So he has a midlife crisis and he goes to Linda and basically, he's not happy. Well, he loved Coors Light. He was a Coors Light drinker. And one day he went to the bar and he sees this waitress. Now her name is Patricia Meeks. Now Patricia Meeks is a little younger than Arthur, just a few years, nothing insane. And they just they just saw each other, started seeing each other, and it was quite fast. Within a month of him seeing Patricia, Arthur leaves his wife of about 20 years. I know. Yeah, he did. Arthur did do that. So I'm 100% sure, and forgive me if the family member sees this, that Arthur did cheat. And he did leave Linda. Now, Linda, in her words, she was very surprised that, it didn't hurt her as much as she thought it would. But she was surprised because she knew that their daughters would not be very happy at all. Because, just a month, he leaves his wife, and just only a few months later, Arthur actually goes to Vegas with Patricia. And yes, you guys, they actually get married in February of 1995. And it's a hard blow for the family because, number one, he didn't even tell his children about it. Now, slowly, the girls were warming up to Patricia because it took about a year because they loved their father. Like I said, Arthur was a really great father. And I really want to talk about that because there's not, we don't really focus on the positive sometimes, but Arthur was a great dad. He may have drank a little bit. I wouldn't say he was an alcoholic. Maybe he was. There's a back and forth about it. But one thing I can say that Arthur was not the abusive kind of type. He actually listened to his children and adored his children. Even after their divorce, after the divorce of Linda, he still focused on his children. So that is awesome. But his daughters were very upset with him. And he, I don't know why he didn't tell his daughters. That was a really big low blow. I don't know why. But like I said, about a year, they realized, listen, I love my dad. I want him to be happy. And if this is how dad can be happy, this is what's happening, which is, I think it's very grown up of them. So, like I said, after the shock wore off, Patricia, it's natural, you guys, she finds out she's pregnant. The family is floored because Patricia is 36 years old, which, what's wrong with that, right? It's her first time that she is pregnant. And around this time, Arthur is around 40 years old when he finds out his wife is pregnant. So August of 1996, Michelle was born. So the daughters were teens, okay, when their father left their mother to go with Patricia, all right, Karen and Samantha. So when Karen and Samantha found out that Michelle was born, they actually were pretty excited about it. It's their half sister, which I'm sure they were saying, it's my sister, and they did love Michelle. They were spoiled. They spoiled Michelle to high heaven. And August 1996, when Michelle was born, she had a very close relationship with her dad. But the relationship was way closer with the mom. I know, she was a mommy's girl. And let me tell you, she is the worst when it comes to being a mom's girl. Okay? Now, Michelle was, lack of a sense of a better word, boy crazy. If you're wondering, well, that's fine, Katie. I was I was boy crazy. I had posters all over my wall. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. But were you sleeping with dudes that are more than twice your age? Yeah. 14 years old. She was seeing a 27-year-old man. When Arthur found out about it, he was, of course, very, very upset. And he gave his daughter, Michelle, strict rules. Yeah, she basically portrayed him as a monster because she couldn't sleep with a 27-year-old dude. She didn't want to do chores, and she didn't want a curfew. Yeah, I think that sounds like a regular father who has a teenage daughter. So there is tension in the home by this time. Michelle is doing whatever she wants. And you're wondering, well, what is Patricia doing? Well, Patricia is actually encouraging her daughter to be sexually active, to be free. And, no judgment, even though I am a Virgo. I don't believe that you should be having hardcore sex at 14 years old. I feel like you're a kid. You're still a child. You need to focus on your studies and what you want to do in life and not just worry about what, kind of boy you want. But as I'm doing my research, guys, I was so angry at Michelle. I was like, this hoe, like what the... But then you have to realize like how her mother raised her. It is bizarre. And I will get into that. So Arthur right now is like trying not to be stressed out. He is actually having heart problems during this time. His favorite drink in the morning he has is Mountain Dew. That's a hardcore drink. I feel like that's more hardcore than coffee. So he is 53 at this time of the story, and his daughter is a lot to handle. Michelle is a lot to handle. Karen and Samantha are doing what they can to help their father. But there's tension in the household, you guys. There's a lot of tension right now. So by this time, where I'm going to bring you to the horrible time of February 18th, 2011, where we find poor Arthur just lying on the ground in his barn. May have forgotten to mention, Arthur was a very hardworking country boy kind of guy. He was. He liked his Coors Light. He loved his horses. And he worked very, very hard. So when he went home after a long day of work, he always tended to his horses in the barn. Now, at this time, at this date, 51-year-old Patricia calls the police saying that her husband was in the barn and she wasn't sure he was breathing. Now, it took about 16 minutes for the ambulance to arrive. Now, he was known to have heart problems, and when he was found face down in a pool of blood. And at that time, it didn't look suspicious because of his known heart attack. And when he was found, Patricia actually had to roll him over and do CPR over the phone with the paramedics. Now, as the paramedics arrived, they may have thought he had a heart attack. He fell, hit his head, and that's why there was so much blood. And maybe the blood came from the nose or the ears, right? All right, my darling tea break lovelies. I am using the awesome Busch Gardens Williamsburg mug with my favorite rides on the mug. Awesome, awesome. And George actually prepared it for me, such a sweetie pie. And this is... okay. It did taste like green tea. I was just double checking. Green tea. I absolutely, absolutely love it. When the paramedics arrive, Patricia is just devastated, just crying and extremely upset. And so is Michelle. It is just not a good sight at all. And at that time, Michelle has a boyfriend named Michael Richardson, and he does not look very happy about the situation as well. Now, when the medical examiner gave the results, the police were shocked. Now, the police thought that it was diabetes, a heart attack, and they were just going to write the whole thing off. But the police really wanted an autopsy, and I'm so glad they did, because they found out something that was actually, believe it or not, was like not naked to the eye. You know what I'm saying? So they actually found a bullet hole. A bullet hole was actually found in Arthur's eyebrow, and it was hidden from his hair. It was actually a .22 caliber bullet. So it was a murder. It was a homicide. It was not an accident, and it was definitely not a heart attack. And when I think about how Arthur was lying there and how much blood poured out of his head, a .22 caliber does have a punch. It will go through your skin, but there was no exit wound. So the bullet was inside of his head, and he slowly bled to death. And I think that is absolutely horrific. Because when you think about getting shot in the head, I don't know about you, but you're always curious, like, well, how long does it take, you know? But with this weapon, it took a long time. But it was only one shot. So the police were wondering, okay, there's 3 people in this vicinity. We have to seriously start narrowing down suspects. So, of course, 3 people are suspects. Michelle's boyfriend, Michael Richardson, and Patricia. Now, the news of Arthur's death to the extended family, his older daughters, Karen and Samantha, absolutely crushed. They couldn't even believe it. And the granddaughter of Arthur, they couldn't believe it. The word was pawpaw, they couldn't believe their pawpaw had passed away, and they were very, very confused. And there was a lot of tears. But what was very strange, when the family was together, inside of Michelle's bedroom was Michelle and Michael. And they were jumping on the bed and actually giggling. I don't know about you, but that does not sound like sadness, you guys. That sounds like joy. That sounds even happiness, which is what is happening? What am I missing here? The family did know that Michelle hated her father's guts, but of course they thought it was like teenage angst, Even quite a few times she would yell in his face and say, "I hate your guts," which, man, that is cold. Now, the reasoning was Michelle hated Arthur was because, like I told you, he was a strict father, which I don't know about you, but I feel like that's a dad with a teenage daughter. She didn't want to have curfews. She wanted to have boyfriends in the house. She wanted to have money. But Arthur believed in chores, and Michelle did not like that. And Michelle was beyond spoiled. Like, if she didn't get what she, wanted, all hell would break loose. Now, the other girls, Karen and Samantha, they said they were spoiled too. And they did say their father was a strict father. But he was still a really good dad. There was no abuse. They didn't understand the extreme hatred because Michelle didn't have any rules, Arthur really did try to raise his daughter, but, Patricia saw a different kind of way. She saw that, her daughter can do all those things and was very lax. So the kind of relationship that Patricia had with her daughter was like a best friend kind of relationship, which is like when I was raised, I would just, my mom was very, very strict and very harsh on me. And I would just be like, why won't you be, more nice? Like, what did I do? And I'm not trying to say my mother was horrible, because now I'm grown up and I was like, damn, my mom was like the shit. She worked her butt off. She'd not take crap. All 3 of us kids are amazing human beings. I mean, we're all different, but we all love people. We all treat people with respect, and we love our parents. So I feel like my parents did something right. But, when I was younger, I didn't understand. I wanted somebody to be really nice to me. And I kind of was a wet blanket, believe it or not. And I had no self-esteem, no self-worth, all the good things teenage girls, some have. So my mom, I remember, she was just like, I am your mother. I'm not your friend. And I was like, damn. So this was the opposite relationship that Michelle and Patricia had. They were friends. She definitely wasn't the mother. Now, the police heard about what was happening with Michelle jumping on the bed and giggling. So the police were very suspicious. They're like, we need to interview this 14-year-old. She looks like the prime suspect. But they really thought in 2011 that she was too young to commit this crime. They're like, there's no way this 14-year-old committed this crime on her own, or at least had something to do with it. Michelle's boyfriend, Michael, was even suspected. He was 17 years old at the time. And Michael actually said during the first interview that I didn't even know the man, okay? But investigators had no proof at the time. I know. Frustrating, right, you guys? And, police were just, was soon to be on the back burner, I'm afraid. Until February 22nd. Yeah, not too long, you guys. Police received a call from one of Michelle's friends saying that actually Michael killed Arthur. Yeah. Michael killed Michelle's dad. Now, she even told them where the murder weapon was. So police received a search warrant and to look for the weapon. And they found it behind like a trailer skirting, kind of like underneath. And it was exactly where the friends said it would be. Ballistics immediately matched. The DNA was actually found on the gun as well. And the DNA tragically was Arthur. So you have evidence up the wazoo right now. You have the murder weapon. And you also have the bullet casing, and it's a match. Now, police went into Oklahoma City to arrest Michael Richardson. And Michael was basically saying, he's a kid, guys. He's 17 years old. And he was saying that he only knew Michelle for a few weeks. And they actually met online. Michelle, the 14-year-old girl, was telling him how abusive and horrible her father is and how he is abusive to her mother as well. Michael felt bad about the situation and really wanted to help Michelle. Michelle claimed that Arthur, like I said, the abuse was in the household. But what's really sad and really messed up is Michelle signed up on a dating site, at 14 years old, to look for people to kill her father. Yeah, there's videos online of the interrogation, and she gave zero craps. There was no remorse, but of course you can say, well, she's a kid, she's 14. I don't know about you, but I would have remorse for killing someone. I would be bawling my eyes out. I wouldn't. I'm saying I wouldn't kill someone. That's just not in my nature. I couldn't do it. But it's not about me. It's about Michelle. So Michelle and Patricia had a plan. Yeah, Patricia's involved, the mother. They had a plan to actually kill Arthur for at least 7 months before this death. I know. Can you imagine that? Like, how cold is that? You have Arthur working day and night, and he comes home to be with his beautiful horses, and he gets shot and lied there bleeding to death. But for 7 months, the women tried to kill themselves, not themselves, but they tried to kill Arthur himself. It's very bizarre what they tried to do. One of the things, you guys, was 5 things of Viagra. Yeah. The men arousal medicine, the boner. Yeah. So they gave him like 5 to overdose him, and that didn't do nothing to him. Another thing they did was get his pills and lace them with insect pesticide. I know. And put it in the food. Arthur did get sick, but he did not die. So the women figured, well, we can't do this on our own. We got to get somebody else to do it. I know. I know. It's what? So Patricia actually picked Michael up in Oklahoma City and was basically telling him for like an hour about how horrible Arthur was. And she actually drove Michelle and Michael back to the Burney's house and gave him the gun. I know. What? Yes. And this kid was promised sex He was promised sex, weed, and $6,000 in cash. What? I know. It's, yeah. So if you're wondering, so Katie, are you saying that Patricia prostituted her daughter? Yes. That is exactly what I'm saying. Michael actually thought Michelle was 16 years old. I'm guessing that is the Oklahoma age for sexual consent. But she was only 14 years old and he was 17. When he found out her age, he was absolutely horrified because he could now get in trouble for rape. Oh yeah, guys, the sex did happen. Yeah, so when she picked up the kids and she brought him to the barn, she told him that when Arthur walks in the door, that you need to shoot and make it count. Because if you shoot and miss, he will come after you and kill you. So this kid doesn't even know who Arthur is. He's just hearing all this stuff. He is promised all these wonderful things, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And so this is like heartbreaking. So this kid is waiting in the barn with a 22 caliber rifle. Okay. And Arthur walks in, looks at the kid and was like, "Who the hell are you?" And the kid shoots just once. And Arthur, he falls to the ground. And that's it. And the kid grabs the gun, takes the gun, jumps over the body, goes to Patricia back in the vehicle, and Patricia takes the kids, Michelle and Michael, to the mall to make the alibi. And while Patricia dropped the kids off, I'm calling them kids because they're literally teenagers, okay? 14, 16, like what? She drops them off to go shopping in the mall, and she leaves and goes and has sex with someone in a hotel room. What? I'm sorry, guys. That is fucking cold. Like, your husband is lying dead or bleeding to death at this time while another dude's inside you? What? I'm sorry to be gross, guys, but I'm keeping it real. You're disgusting. Now I'm sounding judgy. I'm just saying, like, that is so cold. Really cold. So afterwards, when she's done doing her thing, okay, she goes to the barn and realizes that he is dead or really close to death, and she calls the ambulance, and they're telling her to do CPR. And she rolled the body over, and she faked it, you guys. She didn't even, touch the body. She literally was on the phone, and the paramedics were telling her how to do CPR and the chest compressions, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and then she literally was just like 1, 2, 3, 4, not even doing anything, just pretended. I know, it's horrible. So police, they get Michael to confess. And Michael, 17-year-old kid, sings like a canary. He does. And he tells them everything, you guys. He literally does. He tells them what happened, how they just met online. He was promised all this stuff. He didn't even realize kind of what he was doing. Yeah, there was remorse. He was actually kind of crying about it. Well, he was crying in the courts. I think in the negotiations, I didn't see that. Yeah, it's nuts. So February 27th, 2012, Patricia's trial begins. Yes, the mother. She was actually convicted of being a mastermind in this murder for hire. Michael was 18 when he was convicted. And like I said, he confessed everything about this crime. And he had to even testify against Patricia. Now, the court and the prosecutor, they didn't promise him anything. I know. I was like, what? So he's testifying. He's telling them about the murder weapon. He's telling them everything. Like everything. But the court just does not, they don't help him at all. Arthur's family actually didn't mind a deal. There was a deal that they wanted to do with Michael because they said that, quote unquote, quote, Michael's not very bright and he was a troubled kid, end quote. Now, but the family wanted Patricia to get the worst punishment possible for being the mastermind. Like they said, yes, Michael did shoot our father, but it was Patricia that murdered our father. Yeah. Insta, different kind of way of putting it, Now, prosecutors gave 14-year-old Michelle a deal if she actually testified against her mother. Now, she would be tried as a juvenile instead of an adult. Michelle said that she would agree to testify against her mother if you guys take the death penalty off the table against her mother. The court agreed. Michelle testified that she actually wasn't treated like a daughter, but a friend. Remember what I told you guys in the before? Yeah, Michelle is saying all about that. She would say that she would actually hang out with her mom and they would be best friends and be really grown up, put her in this adult lifestyle. She never really was treated like a kid. She would actually encourage her daughter to be very sexually active. They both would actually go in a weekly basis to have sex with different men that they met online. I know. Patricia, maybe Michelle, the court said both of them. I don't know if they took turns doing this, but they would drug Arthur. They would put pills in his food or drink to knock him out. So Trish would take Michelle in the middle of the night to hook up with men. What? Yeah. I was like, what? Yeah, for a while, the sex with men, it happened quite a few times. It was more than just the thrill. They actually were trying to find someone to kill Arthur. And no one took the bait except poor Michael. I'm like, wow. So when Michael was in court, he testified with remorse. He was actually crying, and he, about really how he was manipulated to committing this murder. And the most insane thing about this case, you guys, this case is absolutely insane. Prostituting your daughter, just leaving your wife after 20 years and trying to go with a little younger woman. The grass isn't greener on the other side, people. You know what I'm saying? So Patricia, actually, there was no direct evidence to link her to Arthur's homicide. Yeah. And you're wondering, so does that mean Patricia blamed everything on the daughter and the boyfriend? Oh, yes. Yes, she did. What kind of mother would do that to their child? Someone really evil. Someone absolutely evil. Cold. Patricia blamed her daughter and boyfriend and claimed she was innocent. Patricia didn't even testify at her trial because she thought she was going to go free. She's like, I got this. This is going to be acquitted. But March 6, 2012, Patricia was named mastermind, guilty of first-degree murder, life in prison, with no possibility of parole. Bye, bitch. Bye. I know. I was like, dang, they threw the book at her. Michael Richardson, the 17-year-old kid who was cuckolded, promised with the teen dream. Yeah, He pled guilty to second-degree murder, but he was sentenced to 28 years in prison. Yeah, they charged him as an adult. That's rough, you guys. In Oklahoma prison? That does not sound like a good time at all. And you're wondering, well, Katie, okay, what happened to Michelle? What happened to the 14-year-old girl that lured someone with sex to kill her father? Oh, you guys. Oh, you're not going to like this at all. Or maybe you will. Or maybe I want to hear the reaction and the comments. Please. I want to know if this was the right kind of punishment. I want to know. Okay. Michelle did plead guilty to first-degree murder. She did. But since the deal, it was turned over to the Office of Juvenile Affairs. She was released a few years later. What? I know. I talked about this with George, and he said that Michael got the right sentence. And I'm like, but he was a kid. Even Arthur's family was like, he was a weapon. But he has remorse. He kind of dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was fully taken advantage of. And then George was like, yeah, so what? He knew as soon as he pulled that trigger, someone's going to die. And he pulled the trigger. But I'm like, but the daughter only got a few years. Like, I think she was released at 19 years old. So yeah, guys, she's out. She's out now. She probably like changed her name and stuff, but she out. Yeah. She was born in 1996. So yeah. You're going to see a girl in her 20s. Late 20s. What? I know. It's a horrible case. It is very, very bizarre because I've heard of these, moms that are trying to be the cool mom, like the Mean Girls mom. But it is another level when you literally try to get your daughter to kill her father. And you're wondering, well, Katie, why? What was the purpose? Well, we know what Michelle's purpose was. Now, Patricia, she wanted that life insurance policy money. I know. Irony. Because that's what I do now, is I'm a registered life insurance agent. Plus, she just wanted him to die because she wanted to live her life. She wanted the money. And poor Linda, my God, when I saw her interviews, his ex-wife, she was crying. She was like, listen, I know him and me didn't work out, but the way he loved his family and the way he loved his daughters and took care of them, I miss that. And she's like, I will never understand why he had to die. I will never. Because he was a good man. He was a funny man. But it just... She was like, you could have divorced him. You could have left him. But yeah, 20 years he was with Linda. And then 16 years with Patricia. And she goes and kills him. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me and listening to this podcast. Again, I really care about, I love reading these comments. I love reading the emails. It means a lot. If you have any case suggestions, definitely send them to me. I appreciate it. But yeah, I think this episode is on American Monster on Max. They go really into the family. Because like I said, he was a great grandfather in his 50s. So I'm like, whoa, these family are close. They start them young, you know what I'm saying? Oh, wow, that was not a good joke. Holy crap, I can't believe I just said that. They start on me. Wow. All right, well... I'm going to have more tea and keep reading your emails. And don't forget to be ready for the giveaway. Thanks, guys. Please know that you are loved and you are cherished. Oh, to get in the giveaway, guys, if you listen to the whole thing, you just got to subscribe. Yes. And then I'm going to find something to get all your names, push a button, and then we're going to scroll. Please don't scroll. Then it's going to pick a name. And then I'm giving away crystals. I'm giving away nails. Yeah. My Mercury is Venus, you guys. That's probably why I'm feeling the, one beautiful classic Marilyn Monroe hand, and the other one is just like chillin' bohemian crystal hand. So if you have OCD, my apologies, but I like to do half and half sometimes. Maybe that is because I'm a Libra Venus, and I'm also a Libra Mercury. Yeah, I know. I'm fun, aren't I? I'm a good time. All right. Please know that you are loved and you are cherished. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Bye, guys.